Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of the state of Texas. Congresswoman, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely.
Congresswoman, your response to that statement from the Speaker that Border Patrol agents don't want the $14 billion that the Biden administration is requesting. What they want is policy changes that stop the flow of migrants that come to the border.
I disagree. I obviously wasn't there, so I don't know who it was that the Speaker and his cronies were able to visit, but I can tell you that I've had these conversations, and what I hear is that they do need the funding. We have so many officers that are having to leave their homes and be forced to go to the border because we are understaffed, and they're telling me that it's uncomfortable when they are not given any discretion whatsoever to have to leave their families and go to the border and stay in a hotel. So no, I will disagree and say that they need the funding, but I will also agree that there needs to be policy changes as well. It's not about doing one or the other, it's about doing both. And I can tell you that the money right now will help those cities that are struggling, whether it's Eagle Pass, or if we're talking about Chicago, or if we're talking about New York. I can guarantee you those mayors would not turn down the funding that the president has tried to push through, and the Republicans refuse to do it.
Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona is sending a message, along with other members of the Freedom Caucus, during this trip. He says, shut the border down or we'll shut the government down. Here is what Speaker Johnson said when he was asked about this earlier today.
I'm not going to address hypotheticals about what the scenario is, but I will tell you that we are resolved on that. That and trying to cut non-defense discretionary spending because we passed an important and dangerous threshold today, $34 trillion in federal debt. We are in serious, dire straits as a nation.
So that was not a no. Are you concerned that this is a serious threat?
I am. I've been concerned every time we've approached this issue. Somehow we've been able to avert a government shutdown 2 times before, but we do have 2 more looming deadlines over our head, and it's not been the Republicans that have governed. I mean, most news media outlets have covered the fact that this has been the most unproductive Congress that we have ever had. And so the idea that these unproductive people somehow are going to solve one of our largest crises, when I think back to the fact that a year ago today, this was the day that I was supposed to swear into Congress, and we couldn't get that done because they couldn't decide that they wanted Kevin McCarthy. It took them 15 rounds in 3 days, and now Kevin McCarthy isn't even in the House. So let me tell you, I don't trust these guys to be serious about this. They are nothing more than a bunch of arsonists that are now wanting to have this hero complex and act as if they are also the firefighters. We need to do what is smart on border protection. We need to make sure that those that absolutely need asylum are actually having their cases heard. And if they shouldn't be granted asylum, then they should be able to go back to where they came from. But when we don't fund these people, when we tell those that are trying to work at the border, hey, we're going to shut the government down, I've got news for you, Andy Biggs. That means that you're not going to pay the people that you claim to be supporting. That means that people are going to start calling in. That means that we may actually end up with an even larger shortage when it comes to the people that we need on the border. So let me tell you what's not smart is shutting down the government.
Do you agree with the Biden administration putting on the table changes to U.S. asylum policy? Do you think that that should be something that happens, making it harder for people to claim asylum?
I don't agree with that at this point in time. Because I don't even think that that really is the issue. If for 2 seconds you can just put yourself into the shoes of some of these people, you're coming from a place in where you may be looking at losing your life. You may not be able to feed and take care of your family. They're not studying U.S. law before they get here. In fact, you hear the majority of the people that talk about the border crisis about the fact that most people can't even read English that are coming into our country. They're not studying whatever 1,000-page bill is going to come out. All they know is that this is supposed to be the land of opportunity and the land of the free. And so they're trying to get in. And honestly, they're doing it the way that you're supposed to. People don't understand that these people are presenting themselves at ports of entry, which is what our law says they're supposed to do. They are going and saying, hey, I'm here seeking asylum. They continue to talk about an invasion, but here it is. You see that the speaker was being interviewed. I didn't see invaders behind him. We've seen an invasion at the border, and that isn't what this looks like. This looks like people that are in dire straits, and we should be leading in the world to make sure that wherever it is that they're coming from, that we can help to stabilize those communities so they don't need to come to the United States, but instead they can stay at home where they really would probably prefer to be.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, thank you for joining us tonight.
Good to see you.